Today we're talking about the single best engagement technique a pastor can use with his Sunday morning crowd. Coming up here on the Better Sundays podcast at Reachkeep.com. Welcome to the Better Sundays podcast. Focused, practical, and usable advice for church leaders looking to reach new young families and impact their community. Howdy. Mike Holmes here in studio, back from a long trip, and good to be back. I can say this, though. I caught something on the way, and my voice is about gone. But I was just telling my pastor, I said, I am determined to get this podcast out today and get this YouTube out to you folks. Thank you so much for being with us here. We have been, over the last 3 weeks, talking about what we use is called connection cards, an engagement device to help you as the pastor and the leader to be fully engaged with your congregation. More than any other technique, these connection cards really allow us to do a lot of great things. If you've not watched the last couple podcasts or listened to them, you can go back on YouTube or you can go back in your podcast app and find those. But we talked about a couple weeks ago the 3 things that are mistakes that most people make with connection cards. And we went through those. If you're a newbie and you're just starting out, make sure that you watch that video. Then last week we talked about 5 techniques to help your connection cards really have that zing and zowie to make sure that everything is running super smooth and super good. And I said, make your connection cards stand up and dance. And I thought that was kind of funny, but since most of us are not into the stand up and dancing crowd, but you know what I'm talking about. When something really runs on all cylinders, we say, and your connection card system can do that. It can also kind of falter and fall away. And so that podcast and YouTube video will really help you make sure you find the finer points and you refine it and make it. It's kind of like tuning up your carburetor, making sure your transmission's good, making sure you got good tires, and making sure you got the good gas, and then taking your car down to the drag strip and making her run. So that's what we talked about. Today we're going to talk about the single best technique that you can use to engage your Sunday morning crowd. Now, our Sunday morning crowd, what we mean by that is where the place where we're going to have visitors and guests and new people and the returning, the second and third time visitors. You will get some. It's your Sunday nights and your midweeks, but actually it's the Sunday morning is the front door of the church, and in most churches, this is where we need to be at our very best. And so we're going to talk about how to make that happen here on this particular podcast. Now, the cards are designed to get data, first of all. Let me grab one here. Okay, there's just a single one right here and a single-sided one. Got some questions on the back, place for prayer requests, but it's sort of like a visitor card, place to gather data. So we want to make sure that we have all that done. And by the way, if you want to learn how to really do some of the nuts and bolts of this, we have a webinar coming up, an online training workshop that you can go to. And when you go to that, you can learn every little nut and bolt thing about this, and you can sign up for that at reachkeep.com/workshop, and that will get you signed up for that. It is a live workshop that we're doing, but it also will be recorded, so if you are not able to make it, you can catch the recording, but you have to sign up in order so we know where to send the recording. So what you want to make sure that you do is you are gathering data. That's a very, very important thing. We also want to have a connection card, which is a little different than a visitor's card because you're going to be gathering some spiritual information. You're going to be getting some feedback from your people on your messages and sermons and things along that line, and we go through and give you all that kind of stuff. And then the third big thing that the connection card does is it has a place, check boxes here, right there, that we put in there to help you recruit volunteers or people who are going to attend a special service or an event, or they volunteer to help with a special thing. So the cards do all that, but the basics with all that is that you would somehow really get engaged with your person, with each person, okay? You're going to get it with your whole congregation. It's going to raise the whole engagement level with your congregation. No doubt about that. But what we really want is we want to try to get as much personal engagement with an individual And so the connection cards have a lot of advantages, and one of them is exactly that. We're going to talk about how you can really get engaged with an individual, and it's not just low-quality engagement. It's the high-quality engagement. I wrote a couple things down here. It's what we call a high percentage engagement. So it's high percentage across the number of people. So say you had 100 people, you'd have a high percentage of those people fill out the card, but also you would have a high level of engagement with each individual. And this would be kind of what we call high growth engagement. In other words, the engagement is with this person and you're helping move them from one place to another. You're helping them grow spiritually. So let me go through a couple of notes, and I'll give you kind of the 3 best ways to do this. Well, actually, just one best way. These are all just kind of a bunch of different ways to do it. What you want to do when you're having your engagement or your time with your card, and you always, as the senior leader, works best for you to say, hey, everybody, pull your cards out. Service is over. I mean, it's sort of like we do it at the end of the service, best time. You can do some of this in the middle, but you basically say, thanks for coming here. I want a couple things I wanted you to note. Right here is a place for you to put your prayer requests. So before we're dismissed, please take a moment and share your prayer requests there. We appreciate you doing that. Also, there's a question here that has to do with the sermon, and if you would respond to that appropriately and let me know, I'll be praying for you as you grow in regards to what I just spoke about. So there's that type of thing. And then the volunteer questions are on there. But with this card, while you're doing that, there's one more thing that you can do. And this is the best way. And again, these are some great ways. And you're going to have their data here on the front. If they don't give you their data, this is the way to get their data and also get the high engagement. So and here's what you do. You solve a problem that they have. And we say this on Reachkeep at our academy. You see our academy thing in the back there. We every Sunday solve a problem. We teach our guys in the academy how to every Sunday solve a problem, and you and I need to do that. So what you are going to do is you're going to give them a link that will solve a problem. And what I mean by a link is we're going to connect with them later in the day with this card, and we're going to give them a link to their smartphone that's going to solve a problem. We're gonna give them a link that's going to be a benefit to them. We're going to give them a link that's something that's really helpful to them. We're going to give a link that really helps them grow in their maturity. So the way that you do this is partway through your sermon. If you are speaking on let's say I wrote a couple notes down here. Say you're speaking on depression, for example, and you've covered a lot of different things, and you're talking about let not your heart be troubled, and you've got your scripture, and it doesn't matter if this is topical or expositional on your message, but you're partway through. But you know what it's like, Pastor. You have a lot of information. You can't get it all in a sermon. So what you do is you have found something that will help them, and it is a link that you have found to a website that would help them with an area of depression. Okay, so perhaps you have studied and found, and I'm not an expert in this, okay, so I don't even know where those links would be. But go out there and find, something, a link that might have some really good of short YouTube video. Okay, and we recommend YouTube videos are probably the best, okay, because people watch them all the time. There's billions of them watching right now. And when you get you put a YouTube link on there, what you're going to do is you're going to say, I found a YouTube link, and it's a 7-minute little thing I found, and it's how to get over depression, something that will help you. I don't have time to show it here in church, but I want you to have it. And if you're interested in having that link, what I want you to do is make sure where your mobile phone number is, that your information is in there. And then I want you just right down in the bottom corner here, I want you just write the word link. And I'll know what that means. And this afternoon, by 2 o'clock this afternoon, I'm going to send you a link to a YouTube video on this topic of depression. It will be very helpful for you. Now, this concept can be done in a zillion different ways. If you've found great links, and probably the easiest one is like on creation. There's all sorts of videos that have to do with creation versus evolution. And there's no way you could show them all at church, but they're good. They're pretty healthy, and people need to have that stuff. You say, if you're interested in that, I want you to write the word creation right there, or write the word ape man or something. Whatever it is the link is about, you have them do that. And what you're doing is you're solving a problem. You're helping educate them. You're moving them from A to B. You're being a benefit to them in a spiritual way. And now you are a problem solver in their mind. And your phone number and their phone number are linked together. And your phone number is linked as a problem solver. So you are starting to connect with them. You're not just a preacher anymore. Now you're someone that answers my problems. So you can do this in several different areas. So as we said, solve a problem, give them a benefit, something that will help them kind of grow and mature. I'll give you a couple of the different ones that we have done over the years. The YouTube video works really, really good. And you find the link on YouTube of that video and you share it. And by the way, if you've never found that, when you're watching a typical YouTube video, right beneath it, and it's on your phone or on your laptop, there's a little button that says share. And you click on that share button, and there's several kind of pre-populated things like share it on Facebook or share it on this or that. But you can also, there's one that says copy link, and you just copy that link and paste it into a text that you sent. So you just paste that in. Here's the link I promised you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm here for you. Boom, and you send it off. So that's just a great way to do that, as a YouTube video of a piece of sermon. I would keep them short too. And there's a lot of sermon clips. So a piece of sermon, creation type video, something that you have found that is really helpful in that regard. Something that turned out really good for us. And I'm not sure where you're at with your music, but we're very conservative on our music. And believe it or not, on YouTube, there's a lot of really good renditions of very conservative music. So take an example like It Is Well With My Soul. There's a couple of YouTube videos that kind of tell the story of It Is Well With My Soul. Then they go into a beautiful, conservative version of It Is Well With My Soul. And you can play part of that in church if you have the ability to do that. You can just talk about it in church, or you can say, hey, I'm going to send you this link. What we have done sometimes is actually played something like that, a portion of it, and then shut it off partway through and said, this is really good. If you would like to get the rest of this, go ahead and write, It Is Well With My Soul on the bottom of your card. And by 2 o'clock this afternoon, this full thing will be on your smartphone, and you can watch it yourself. So YouTube music videos, even just the plain hymns and videos that are done, can be sent, the links. The second one that works really good for us is just outside website links to a resource. So, for example, if you're teaching on family things, you might get into a couple areas. If you're teaching on family, make sure you do cover this area, Pastor. The idea of dealing with stepchildren, because there's so many stepchildren today in our society where people are raising kids that are not their biological kids. It might be their half kid, or it might be their grandkid, or fosters. But there's a lot of situations there. So you can find really good resources on, like, say, step parenting tips for dads, for example. And you would say, hey, I can't get to all of this today, but if you pull your card out, I found this really good list of things on this link, and it's called Step Parenting for Dads. And so just write the word dads down here, and we'll know that, and make sure your mobile number is right there, and we will get you this link. And then you send them a link and say, hey, Tom, great to have you here at church today. So nice to have you and your family. Here is the link to the step parenting stuff. If I can ever help, I am here for you. Just kind of let them know that you're there for that purpose. And you're starting to build this engagement relationship that is very, very powerful. Okay, so the website links that have to do with finances, different things like that, website links that, like for very things that you probably wouldn't cover all in your topic, your sermon, but like special needs kids or whatever. There are great web resources for ministering to special needs kids. Excuse me. And we want to make sure we get that stuff to our people. So have them write the word special needs, and you'll send them a link by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The last one is probably a fairly easy one to do as well. And you don't have to go to any outside resources. And this is where you have a lot of leftover sermon material that you just didn't get in the sermon. So you might have a verse list. You might have a set of scriptures. You might have 3 scriptural stories that Jesus told that really go with your message. And what you do is you say, hey, if you want to learn more on this particular topic, just write the word scripture, or write the word Bible, or write the word list, or whatever you say on your card, and I will send you the list of the top 10 verses that deal with depression, or I'll send you a list of the 5 stories that Jesus told that have to do with financial freedom, so, and then you can go look them up in your Bible, and you can read them yourself, but I will send that to you because I don't have time to do that right now, and then you say, hey, Bob, here's the list on financial freedom verses. I trust all is well with you and your family. Thank you so much for being our guest today, and if I can do anything for you, let me know. I'm here for you. So all of those things that you can do, and all of those are powerful, powerful things. And that is the best technique you can do on a Sunday morning. The only other technique that would really outdo this as far as a Sunday morning engagement with an individual would probably be as if you actually got to deal with someone one-on-one at the altar and pray with them and talk to them for 20 minutes and find out their needs. Okay, so maybe this is the second best one, but this is the way that you can deal, this engagement technique, you can do this with 50% of your congregation. And when we've done some of these with like the YouTube video, like a really nice, well-done song from one of the Bible colleges, we'll put that up on the screen. We'll play it for an offertory or something along that line. And I'll just say afterwards, hey, how many really like that song? Whoosh, every hand goes up. Tell you what, just write the word YouTube on the bottom of your card right there. I'll make sure that entire song and all the words and everything are on your phone by 2 o'clock this afternoon, and you just send it to them afterwards. So we'll talk about the device on how we manage all this stuff. Really is what we're going to cover in our workshop. So make sure you go to reachkeep.com/workshop and sign up for the workshop. We do have a little connection card guidebook that we make available as well. And I'll put the link beneath in the notes here, but that's at reachkeep.com/connection. And so you can get that. So anyway, glad we could be sick together. I'm hoping you're feeling okay. I'm not sure. I might go home, take a nap here. I'm feeling pretty tired, but I appreciate you guys. Thanks for rooting for us. And take time, if you would do me a favor. This has been just amazing here lately. Take time to subscribe to this if you've not subscribed, and hit that subscribe button. There's a little button down the bottom corner there, a little red box. But we have a lot of subscribers here lately, and I really appreciate it. Also, if you take time to share this, on your Facebook page or with somebody, that'd be helpful. I would appreciate that. So anyway, sorry I'm about out of voice here, but we love you guys, and so glad that we could help out. For all of our Academy students, this is for you, okay? And we've been studying this in our Academy in depth, and make sure you watch all 3 of those videos, and then make sure you attend the workshop, and then we will see you on the other side. We'll see you on next time. So thanks for joining us here at the Reachkeep.com Better Sundays podcast. Signing out for today.